Hello, market watchers. This is Markets Daily, hosted by me, Jen Sanasie. It is October 2nd, and October is off to a rough start. October has historically been a bullish month for Bitcoin. If you've been in the crypto space for long enough, or if you listened to yesterday's show, you know that this is the time of the year that typically sees gains, excitement, and optimism about price movement. But as of now, it's off to a rocky start. Let's break down what's going on and why it matters. So, as of today, Bitcoin has regained $61,000 after dropping to as low as $60,300. This might sound like a typical market correction, but there's bigger context at play here that we need to pay attention to. The rising geopolitical tensions between Israel and Iran. Risk assets like Bitcoin and global equities took a hit as Iran launched missiles on key Israeli locations, with Israel threatening retaliation in the coming days. The escalation conflict has many global markets on edge, and crypto is feeling it too. When traditional markets react to global instability, it often sends ripples into the crypto markets, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. Now, you might be wondering, what do these tensions in the Middle East have to do with Bitcoin's price action? Historically, crypto has been seen as a hedge against uncertainty. So, wouldn't we expect Bitcoin to thrive when the world is in chaos? The truth is, it's complicated. And as the asset continues to mature, it gets more complicated. While Bitcoin is often referred to as digital gold, a hedge against inflation and traditional financial systems, it doesn't always behave like gold, especially in times of short term geopolitical turmoil. Right now, investors are pulling out of riskier assets and seeking safe havens like the US dollar and actual gold. This risk off sentiment is putting pressure on Bitcoin. But here's the catch: Bitcoin regaining $61,000 despite all of this shows resilience. So, while some investors are moving towards safer assets, others will be betting on Bitcoin, holding out hope that October will continue its bullish trend. It's the classic tug of war between fear and optimism that defines the crypto market so often. Let's talk numbers here. Like I mentioned earlier, Bitcoin dropped to just above $60,000, which felt a bit alarming given that we're entering a month historically known for rallies. But if we zoom out, the $61,000 level is actually a key psychological barrier for traders. Breaking below it was a shock, but now that we're back above it, this could set the stage for further gains, assuming the situation doesn't escalate further and drive more fear into the markets. If tensions in the Middle East continue or worsen, we could see more volatility. And remember, volatility isn't always a bad thing for traders. It's opportunities to buy low and sell high. That seems to excite people a lot. However, it's also worth noting that geopolitical crises can shift quickly. So while the long-term bullish case for Bitcoin remains intact, the near term is going to be all about uncertainty. Now, why does all of this matter for the average investor? For one, it highlights Bitcoin's evolving role in the global financial system. We're no longer in a place where crypto exists separately from everything else. When tensions flare in the Middle East, when inflation rises in the US, or when central banks make rate decisions, it all impacts Bitcoin. So, understanding how Bitcoin moves in relation to these larger global forces can give you a better sense of how to manage your own investments. Secondly, this is a reminder that while Bitcoin may be seen as a hedge, it's also a speculative asset, and speculative assets thrive or falter on sentiment. Right now, the sentiment is cautious, but there's still that undercurrent of hope that October could bring some surprises. Looking ahead, what do we watch for? First, keep an eye on the Middle East situation. Any further escalation could shake markets even more, but on the flip side, if tensions ease or if global markets stabilize, we could see a stronger rally for Bitcoin through the rest of October. Pay attention to the $61,000 level. If Bitcoin can hold above this, it could act as a springboard for the next move higher. If it falters, we could be in for a little bit of a bumpy ride. And finally, remember that Bitcoin has a history of surprising us. It is volatile, yes, but it is also resilient. The fact that it is holding strong despite everything going on shows that there's still faith in the asset. That's a powerful indicator for long term investors. Now, before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the situation in the Middle East. While we've been discussing the markets and Bitcoin's price movement, the reality is that many people are suffering through a devastating conflict. The human toll of these geopolitical tensions is far more important than any financial gain or loss. Our thoughts are with the people directly affected by the crisis, and I hope for a swift and peaceful resolution. That is it for today's episode of Markets Daily. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening and coming on this journey with me to better understand the crypto markets. If you like the show, subscribe to the CoinDesk Podcast Network. That's available on all podcast platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you tomorrow.